Hey guys, welcome to another Jurassic live video, and it's, 3 a.m. in the morning right now. And, just one more video before I go to bed. That, I work a bit hard, usually, but anyways, that aside, today we're gonna go over a tier list for non-hybrids, and, you might be wondering, why the heck are you making a tier list for non-hybrids? As you guys know, this weekend, starting from Friday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's a non-hybrids tournament in the game. So I thought, if you guys don't really know what to use and stuff in that tournament, this list might, put together kind of a sort of guide to help you guys build together a non-hybrid team to fight in the non-hybrid tournament. It's the official one. It's the in-game tournament, not the one that we're doing for fun. The non-hybrid draft tournament. Although you could use this as a guide for that as well. But yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and I'll explain some of this. I'll spend more time explaining the higher tier dinos. Not so much the lower tiers. Lower tiers, I'll probably just go over them really fast. And also, before we get into this, I want to thank the people who've been working on this with me. Myself, Dwabble, Temerity, Professorus, Antithesis, Jung Tan, and other folks. Just the usual tier list group. So, anyways, let's get into this. S tier, that's the highest tier, strongest tier of dinos. Let's first look at these. How many are these? 3, 4, 12, 13. 13 dinos in S tier. Trying to, balance stuff out here. There really isn't, for non-hybrid, there really isn't there, plus hybrids, those few dinos, half of a handful of dinos that are just, the top of the top. There's a lot of really, really great ones. And these do reflect some of those. So starting with Smilodon. Smilodon, if you guys don't know its stats yet, saber-toothed tiger, as non-nerds like to call it. 3000 HP, 1460 base damage, 129 speed, 5% crit with a devastating move kit. It has the new move Prowl, gives you dodge, increase your crit chance a ton, and all that stuff. It's a crazy dino. As its kit is kind of insane. So Smilodon's kit, it has Prowl, which gives you a chance to evade evasive, I guess, was 66% or something, and then also increases your crit chance for the next turn, and then also has cleanse as well. It does so much stuff, that one move, Prowl, and then it also has precise pounce, which is a decent move. It's like pounce, but it hits through cloak and evasive. So there's that. Overall, a really, really strong dino. Obviously, with crazy stats, 129 speed. That's what you want with a fast dino. Not the greatest health, but you have that dodge and the distract to help you with that, and also cleanse as well. So not the end of the world with only 3000 HP. So moving on to Pachycephalosaurus. Swap and Stun actually got buffed this patch to 100%. I don't know if it's a bug or whatever, or if it's intended, but Swap and Stun is 100%. And that makes Pachycephalosaurus way better right now, although it already was really good, but, it just really elevates it to the next level with swapping abilities being, so rampant right now. And also it did get that bit of a damage buff. It's 1.2k base damage now. Health got a bit of a nerf though, but with the swap and stun, that kind of helps with it a bit. And obviously Shielding Strike, great move, helps it survive a bit more. So the HP nerf really doesn't hurt that much. D-Cell Impact, Rampage and Run, it's a decent kit. Rampage, it's basically Pachycephalosaurus. You're trying to chain into other swap out dinos, right? And same thing with Stygimoloch. Stygimoloch has a bit more speed, less HP, more damage with Shielding Strike, and also an instant charge also swap out as well. So these two are kind of in similar roles, although Stiggy Gen 2, or not Stiggy Gen 2, Stiggy doesn't have that swap in move. Sinoceratops is basically a diet Stegosaur, and you guys know how strong his Stegosaur is, so, that's Sinocera for you. The only thing is it just doesn't lower or opponent's CP for 3 turns. It's only 1 turn with the strike. And moving on to Rano, tons of HP, a lot of damage, Greater Stunning Rampage, one of the best moves in the game. Impact and Run has that swap out capability as well. Spirited Strike, also another one of the best moves in the game. Myosaur, Instant Rampage, one of the best moves of the game. Diplodocus, really reliable tank with a lot of this patch is something that not a lot of people talk about. This patch is there's a lot of dinos with shields now, new shield moves and stuff. And Diplodocus does have that shield advantage, so that helps it in a lot of those scenarios. Obviously, a lot of HP, does tank stuff. Brachiosaurus, one of the best tanks in the game, still got a bit of a nerf, but didn't hurt it that much. Well, it kind of hurts it, but it's still good for the most part. Obviously, with a high crit chance, high HP, decent damage, Rampage, all that, Bellows, and okay-ish moves. Purity Strike, one of the best moves of the game. Ornithomimus, one of the best non-hybrids in the game. It's always been high base damage, fast speed, immunity, evasive, has an impact and run, swap out, also instant track to play around with different against different dinos. Scaphanathus, one of the best bleeders in the game. Swap and bleed is really good, but with regen means it could come back in and bleed. Like it could swap out into another swap in bleeder, and then there's so many fun combos with Scath. Dragorex Gen 2 used to be one of the best dinos in the game. Got a bit of nerf last patch, but this patch got a bit of buff, so it kind of came back a bit. Although it's not as, or probably will never be as good as it was before with that only 1 turn bound, but the impact on turn 1 does help its damage a bit, so, there's that, and, still, Swap and Shatter Rampage, one of the best moves in the game, still, so, there's that. Marsupial Lion, this dino is absolutely crazy. It's probably one of my favorite new dinos in this patch. It has Rending Takedown, Minor Rending Attack, has Prowl even, that gives it a 40% crit chance. It already has, 40%, or already has, a 40% crit chance or something. If I remember correctly, so that's 80% crit chance plus the rending, because remember rending gets affected by crit chances and then also has a counter attack. This thing is pretty crazy. If you're lucky with the crits, you could kill any dino on turn 1, basically. It doesn't have the best base damage, but makes up with its absolutely phenomenal moveset. So there's that. Moving on, we also got Miragaia up there. Miragaia, Shielding Strike, regen with that armor piercing counter, and it's normal, not non-counter. I guess it's Shielding Strike damage. So people who've ever used Miragaia know how good it is. Okay, so that's the S tier. That's the best of the best, I guess. But you can't really build a team just full of S tier dinos. You need some other dinos to work out team synergy and stuff. And that's where a lot of the A tier dinos come in. So let's talk about A tier. Alanka, really, really strong dino. Obviously, the swap in invincibility is one of the best techs in the game. Rex is Rex. A lot of damage. Kensho, a lot of damage as well, actually. People usually think Kensho is a tank. It's not really a tank. It just deals a lot of damage with slowing moves. It's top 10 most turn 1 damage in the game, and then, yeah, it's pretty good. Moving on, Blue 131 speed with the epic status. It's not going to get outsped by many dinos. The only dino that will outspeed it is Velociraptor in this game, or in this tournament, the non-hybrid tournament, so we don't have to worry about that. Short defense, pounce, and a bit of armor makes it one of the raptors with the most survivability. Moving on, Ehrlich Gen 1, and also we have Ehrlich Gen 2 here. This was a bit of a debate. Personally, I thought Ehrlich Gen 2 should have been S tier. But, some of our folks thought, these two should be on the same tier, which I would agree. So you could either move these two up to S tier or move them both down to A tier. Obviously, they both have Rampage. Ehrlich Gen 1 has Strike and Run, which does combo well into a lot of the swap-in moves, but Ehrlich Gen 2 has the new and improved debilitating traction. Debilitating traction before, it wasn't really that great because of its one-turn delay, especially on Ehrlich Gen 2, which doesn't have too much HP to begin with, so if you're taking a hit on turn 1, you're not going to have too much HP to survive with that debilitating traction. But now that it got buffed, it's a 0-turn delay. It's absolutely crazy. One of the best moves in the game. I would say solidly like top 5 best moves in the game. No delay, 75% damage decrease, 1 times damage for 75% decrease for 2 turns. So it's pretty crazy. All right, moving on. Spawner Gen 2 Lethal Wound. It's a bleeder with a Rampage. You guys know that. Elasmotherium, it's just a really solid, has a solid kit, very versatile. You could do a lot of things. Decent stats as well. Dinosaurs, one of the better tank busters here. It has immune, obviously, which helps. You can use it as a revenge killer as well. There's a lot of uses for second Octo, obviously, with all the debuffs going on around. Immune dinos are pretty decent, right? Wurosaurus, solid stats. It's a more defensive Kentro, I guess. Well, it's not really. It's a better Stego, I guess. It's way better Stego. Moving on, Delta, turn 1 Pounce, Impact and Run, high speed. That's Delta. Post-Cenozoic, one of the most highest turn 1 damages in the game, just because, I'm saying just because you can't really calculate a rending damage, so there's that. Elasmotherium, a really great defensive dino that does a lot of damage, especially a lot of shield breaking damage as well, which that's pretty new to this game. So really interesting kit. Draft Titan is basically a worse Bracky, has worse stats all around, but it still does the same function as Bracky with that added swap and slow, which is nice. Amargasaurus, a lot of HP. D-Cell Rampage is a great move. It's only 1 turn cooldown. Also have to remember that. Then you could and slowing stacks, so you could just most of the time you should be the fastest dino on the field. And then last one, the Terrorbird. Terrorbird doesn't have the greatest HP stat. Obviously 3,000. With 1.3k damage, 130 speed, which 130 speed is always great. That's more than 129. So it does have an edge there. Reagan Claws, just like precise pounce basically, or not precise pounce, like precise rampage or whatever. Wait, was it pounce or was it rampage? I don't remember. Give me 1 second. New abilities, precise. Pounce, Breaking Claws. It says on the patch notes it should be like the same as it's not like that. It's like, okay, so it's like its own move. It removes dodge and cloak and 2 times damage. It has 1 turn delay though, which isn't the greatest, and it has 1 turn cooldown, but it does make it up with sidestep, speed increase 10% for 2 turns, 66% chance to dodge, priority, cleanse self. So it will be the fastest dino on the field for most of the time, which does help because speed is really important in this game. Anyways, moving on to B tier. Starting from now, I'm just gonna go over some that doesn't really need mentioning. In B tier, there's Pyroraptor. Gripple got a bit of a change. We got Immobilize now and Regen, so it's got you got some interesting sets you could use there. More situational dino, but still. Baryonyx, good tank buster. Molossaurus, basically a tankier Pyro, but slower. Charlie, lots of damage, more damage than Pyro, 129 speed. Spinosaurus, bleed. Berry Gen 2. Very similar to Berry Gen 1. Proceratosaurus does Proceratosaurus stuff. Edmontosaurus, kind of a Diodorano. Gorgo chomps, eats stuff. Argent, high crit chance, tank thing, kind of, not really anymore. Rambor is kind of like a Diet Alanka. Triceratops is a diet Sinoceratops. Rex Gen 2 is a diet Rex. Velociraptor is Velociraptor, fastest dino in the game. Tangacalagrius is weird. It's fast, does a lot of damage, doesn't have too much HP anymore. Tarbosaurus, high crit chance chomper. Allosaurus, more HP than Tarbo, lower crit chance, but still decently high crit chance. Euphocephalus, 40% armor, rampage and vulnerability, does a lot of damage, and can tank. Nidasuke 128 speed with ferocious plus defense shattering strikes, or was it arm piercing strike? One of those, but still a great fast dino. C tier, there is one dino I want to point out in C tier, which is Carnotaurus. Carnotaurus, now that I think, thinking back on it, probably shouldn't be C tier. It probably should be at least B tier. It's really, the thing is why we put it in C tier initially was it's a really situation dependent dino. In the right scenarios, it could be borderline, it could be A tier, borderline S tier. But in really bad scenarios, it's just meh. It's very similar to Purgatorus, except with horrendous stats in comparison. It's like a Purgatorus that has horrible stats. But anyways, you can move Carno up to either B tier or even low A tier, I guess, or even high tier. If you really feel like it, it really depends on your team. But moving on. C tier, Rajasaurus, that's that. Anki's just not great. Darwin's not that great. Conch might be slightly better than Raja. Utah, there really isn't no use for 128 speed Raptors anymore. Personal's got a bit of a buff, but still overall not that great. Chenanto, you can argue it for a low B tier, but not really. Tojango just dies a lot. Nodosaurus isn't that great. It used to be one of the better non-hybrids in the game, but just got nerfed to oblivion. Megalosaurus is borderline B or D tier. I mean, Capsucus used to be one of the best non-hybrids in the game as well. It got nerfed to oblivion, although it's still not bad, but the nerf kind of hurts. Coolosuchus, high base damage, no multipliers. Irritator is just a worse Berry Gen 2, kinda. Echo got a bit of a change, but it's still Echo, so it's around it. There is an argument for a low B tier. Cleansing Impact just doesn't really fit its kit at all, so that's why it's down here. Dilophosaurus is kind of like Proceratosaurus. You could put it up there as well with Procerato, or you could bring Procerato down here with Dilo, whichever suits you. Carno, we already talked about that. Probably shouldn't be in C tier at all. Dilo, or not Dilo, Diplo Gen 2 is like Coola Gen 2, but with lower base damage and a multiplier, so there's that. Dimensionon Gen, or Dimensionon Gen 1 and Gen 2, they do their thing. Immune, defense shatterers, although Dim Gen 2 is more of an armor piercing dino than defense shattering. Although, it's Dim Gen 2. Stegosaurus is Stegosaurus, Thago, Spirited Strike, really great moves, solid kit. There's an argument to be made for low B tier. Ophiugodon, immune, 40% crits, armor piercing rampage, a lot of damage. Bad stats in other places. Trice Gen 2 does have that swap in stun, which is now 100%, which is great. Turn 1 rampage, not too bad. Its stats aren't horrible, so it's not that bad. Dino Kairos, minimal speed up, turn 1 rampage. It's like a far worse Erlich. I guess you could say that. Gallimimus does Gallimimus stuff. It dodges, and it's really fast, and it's immune. So if you're lucky, you could sweep an opponent's team with this, I guess, potentially. Then we go down to D tier. Trandon just doesn't work. Trandon, Tubodactylus, Stungariptus, their kit just doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. Its HP really can't sustain what they're trying to do. They're swapping ferocious and low HP dinos just are a sad combination. Quetzal is, I personally think, the worst rare in the game, but it's just me. It really isn't that great. Dracorex, arguably you can move it up to C tier. The swap in definite strike is actually pretty interesting, but its stats are just really sad. Suchomimus, it's a bleeder, does bleeding stuff. Scolosaurus is just bad. It has a swap in shield, but like it really doesn't, it can't really do much even when it swaps in. Sure, it could take a hit, but then like what after, right? Irritator Gen 2, ready to crush, Fanchang Strike. It's borderline E tier, honestly, but its stats aren't bad. So there's that. Iguanodon does Hadrosaur stuff. Superiority Strike is always a great move to have. Ionosaurus, you could turn to Greater Stunning Impact. That's a great move. Diplodocus, with the swap in Distraction, it could be borderline low C tier, I guess. Dimorphodon, it's a bleeder, swap and bleed, gashing wound, all that stuff. Does no direct damage, but bleed's always decent to have, I guess, for the most part. Although there are problems with bleed as well, but for the most part, it's not bad. And then E tier, these are, I guess in comparison, the worst dinos, but like none of them are like really really bad though. But they're just not as great as the others. And we have Persaurus Gen 2, just doesn't do anything. Lythronax, Maginosuchus. Counter dinos with limited kits really hurt a lot. Stiggy Gen 2, this one could be borderline D tier. So, if you want to throw that up there, it's fine. Sarco got a attack buff, but like it just doesn't do much still. Parasaur, these dinos just bottom the barrel. Parasaur, Mono Gen 2, Dilo Gen 2, Hatchiopteryx, Brontotherium, Patasaurus, Anki Gen 2, they just really don't do too much. If you really want to make an argument for them to be in B tier, I think every one of them could have a bit of an argument, in this certain niche scenario, this thing could be D tier. Okay, whatever, sure. But for the most part, they're just not that great. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. I'll have all these images posted on Discord. I'll create a channel and just for a tier list, and then you could go over and check these out on the Discord, which is linked in the description box as always. And you can also come in just to chat about the tier list if you have any disagreements. If you think we've overlooked anything, you could go tell us there as well, or you could tell me in the comments down below. And also, I got some pretty interesting videos coming out a bit later today. I got the, which one did I get? Which new dino did I? Well, I can't remember. But, you guys will see if you guys are subscribed to the channel. And that's gonna be it for this one. Also, small side note: if you guys do want to support me on Patreon, I do have a Patreon now. I know a lot of you have been asking me to open up a Patreon, and I do have one right now. The link is in the description as well. So if you do want to support me, you don't have to, of course, but want to support my work and stuff, you can go support me on Patreon there. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Non-hybrid journey again, starting on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's probably my favorite part of this update so far. So anyways, that's gonna be it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video.